Hi everybody, welcome to Simply Scuba. In today's video, I'm going to be taking a closer look at the Atomic Aquatics BC2 BCD. Now obviously I don't have one in front of me, they're all in our warehouse, which of course I can't get to at the moment. So when all of this is sort of all over, then yes, we are going to do another video where I'm physically showing you the product in front of you. But this video is just a breakdown of, basically its important features, why you should sort of consider it and sort of what makes it so great. So, the Atomic BC2 is kind of an evolved version or a slightly sort of shifted version of the BC1, which was a jacket style BCD. The BC2, this one, is a wing style BCD. So all of the inflation is behind you, which I personally prefer. I find it sort of holds me in a better position in the water, and even when it's fully inflated, it doesn't kind of inflate around your waist, so it doesn't kind of squish you in, even when it's fully inflated. So on the surface it's much more comfortable because it's kind of all behind you. So what makes this different over sort of other BCDs is the double laminate polyurethane coating. So instead of just a traditional like sort of nylon Cordura fabric that most BCDs are made from, this one actually has a polyurethane coating on the outside and on the inside, which gives it that kind of matte black finish. And this has quite a few benefits to us scuba divers. The first one is it's much stronger. So if you brush up against a rock or something, then it's literally just going to sort of brush it off. It's much more sort of rip and tear resistant than just nylon Cordura. It also means that nothing can seep into the fabric. One problem with some nylon Cordura on most BCDs is that the salt water and algae and any kind of contaminants can naturally seep into those fibers, but with this polyurethane coating, it can't penetrate. So it means that any kind of nasties literally can't get into the fabric that need to be washed out thoroughly afterwards. And the final benefit, or at least one other major benefit, is that as soon as you get out of the water, because this polyurethane is hydrophobic, the water literally just sheds off of it like a duck's back. So it means that your BCD is relatively dry after a few seconds getting out of the water. So that means that so that if you're moving your gear and sort of packing it away, you don't have to wait for it to drip dry before you put it in the back of the car, and then by the time you get home there's a big puddle of water in the boot of your car. It means that it's actually relatively dry as soon as you get out of the water. So that's a huge benefit. Taking a closer look, starting up at the top, you have a traditional low pressure inflator hose coming over your left hand shoulder. However, what makes this different over sort of most other BCDs is that it doesn't come as standard with an inflator, and that's because you get a choice. You can choose between 3 different inflators, either the stainless steel AI inflator, or you can get the titanium version of that, or you can upgrade to the SS1, which is basically like an octo built into your inflator. So it doesn't come with one as standard, you have to sort of add that separate, and then basically you get to sort of make your choice. Underneath that you have a D-ring. Now the D-rings are more complicated than on sort of most sort of BCDs. They are 316 stainless steel, that's the main body, but what Atomic Aquatics have done is they've used a PVD coating of titanium, which is of course corrosion resistant. So if you're diving in salt water, the stainless steel D-ring isn't going to be exposed to the seawater, so it's much stronger and much more robust. Moving down from that, sort of across your chest, you have an adjustable pinch clip chest strap, and that just sort of holds your shoulder straps over your shoulders, so they're not kind of slipping off. They stay in the right position, and they're fully adjustable, so you can make it nice and comfortable. And you just have the pinch clip down the middle, so you can get out of it really quickly. Moving on to the right hand shoulder strap. So one thing is that all the way around your neck you have this sort of rolled sort of section of material, so you don't have a sort of a sharp edge kind of against your neck. It's actually nice and rolled. So if you're just diving just in a rash vest or with a wetsuit that has a particularly low neck, the BCD is never going to be rubbing against your neck because it's nicely rounded, so it's nice and soft against your neck. Further down on the right hand shoulder strap you'll have a pull dump. So these are actually quite sort of special. They call it a non sort of locking, so it actually allows for a smoother movement, and you have special sort of pull tabs on the bottom of these that attaches to the pull dump over your right hand shoulder, and that just means that the actual sort of knob, it moves away from the shoulder strap, so it's a bit easier to find sort of even if you're wearing gloves. Because it naturally kind of sinks away from the shoulder strap. Another D-ring, again stainless steel coated with titanium that you can clip things off onto. Below that you have pinch clips, traditional pinch clips, and then sort of adjustable straps, so you can adjust those shoulder straps. If you can sort of look on the inside of these shoulder straps, you actually have this sort of quilted sort of section, which just gives it a good sort of premium feel. Again, it's this polyurethane coated sort of material, so it's sort of soft, but it does give it a little bit of grip sort of when it's in the water. Moving down to the waistband, so a traditional sort of waistband with a cummerbund underneath. I quite like cummerbunds just because it sort of holds the whole BCD around your waist, and so the BCD kind of moves along with you. And then in front of that you have the pinch clip, which has two-way adjustments, just as that sort of redundant backup, so it's nice and strong, so the Velcro isn't going to undo. On either side you have integrated weight pockets, and these are easy lock weight pockets, so you have a separate pouch that you put the lead in, and that's quite important because if you just have sort of loose lead sort of in a pocket, then the lead can actually kind of leach out into the water, which is bad for the environment. But when it's inside of a pocket, it's kind of sealing it and kind of sort of containing that lead, so it's not sort of leaching out quite as much. But it does have a quick release mechanism. When you're putting it in, it sort of seals in place with a nice sort of secure click, so you know it is secured in. But then if you ever need to ditch your weight for whatever reason, you just grab onto the red handle, give that a yank, and the pocket will come out, so you can ditch it if you need to. Sort of around the weight pockets, just above it, you have some knife grommets, so you can attach a sort of BCD integrated knife onto your BCD, so you can have that on your hip. And the pockets themselves, they actually resist sand from getting in. If you take a closer look at the zipper itself, it kind of seals itself around the zipper when it's closed, and that means that sort of grains of sand, they're not going to be getting into that zipper, so it jams up, it keeps it nice and free, so that even if sand does get in and around that zipper. Down at the bottom, you have more of these sort of D-rings, so you can clip things off onto sort of D-rings around your hip. And you also have one sort of right in the small of your back, so you can attach a spool or whatever you want, so nicely out of the way. On the back of the BCD, you'll see this sort of this double polyurethane coating is continuing for the whole sort of section of this horseshoe bladder. So again, that's just protecting it. It's making it nice and streamlined in the water as well. But there are two zippers on either side, and that's so that you can actually get to the internal bladder should you need to sort of take a look on the inside. Up at the top, you have the shoulder dump for your left hand sort of shoulder. You then have a right overpressure valve, which is if you pull on that little toggle over your right shoulder, that will start to vent. And then down in your right hand kidney, you have another pull dump. So that's if you're inverted, you can pull on that, but that also acts as an overpressure valve. The actual cam band is slightly different from a traditional cam band, and even some of the sort of fancier cam bands as well. This is a bit more like a snowboarding binding. So this has a one-way ratchet strap and kind of a rubbery sort of cam band. So you can sort of lengthen it off really quickly and easily, slip it over a tank, and then without having to thread any kind of bands or anything, you just kind of push the two sections together, and that sort of ratchets it close to the size of your tank, and then you just push the clamp down and that secures it in place. And you have this kind of concave section of the back plate on the back, which really does sort of cradle your tank, so it moves with you, and it means it's not going to be sort of twisting or moving. So all over, this is very much a premium BCD. Atomic Aquatics, they always go for sort of the best materials, and they make it as premium as possible, hence the price. But actually, it's a very, very tough BCD, and it has some of the best features out there. It's in a wing style, which more divers tend to be kind of migrating to anyway. And yeah, it's all around. It's a really nice recreational BCD. As far as weight, it's not going to be the lightest of BCDs. So if you really are trying to go lightweight, it's probably not going to be too much on your radar. But if you do want a really tough BCD that you can travel with, it's not ridiculously heavy. It's just not the lightest of the light. But yeah, I'd be very much happy diving with this at homes and in and around wrecks because it's nice tough material. It's got plenty of lift, but you can also travel with it abroad. It's a very smart looking BCD. This is the Atomic Aquatics BC2. Thank you for watching and safe diving.